United States foreign policy and the debate community have an identity problem. As the events of this last year unfolded, we witnessed another U.S.-funded ally fall in the grips of the angry public. We were forced to face a difficult question about our relationship to democracy while representing the beacon of democracy. Remember, it was us who whipped those filthy Nazis. We simultaneously propped up numerous brutal dictatorships to secure our neoliberal economic interests. This conjuration has not stopped American culture from monopolizing its hold over democracy. This assumption has never been clearer than in the phrasing of this year's resolution. Democracy is ours to give to those brown people who want to be good liberals just like us. We are the teachers, and the revolting masses are our students. It is our job to help them progress. However, U.S. democracy is not innocent. The violent logic of neoliberalism involves democracy is entrenching state authority is making it a precondition for foreign exploitation, which leads you crack down interstate violence and makes war inevitable. Remember, 2011, democracy outlines a path back to authoritarian for freely elected government. Civil and political rights are activated. Social and economic rights stay the same or decrease. Democracy starts to grow in civil and political rights, while social and economic stay the same. Perception of injustice intensifies. Unrest among disadvantaged groups starts to grow. The government tries to suppress it, pursuing coercive policies that function in democracy constitutes personal security, tolerance, and mutual respect for human agency. To achieve this, assurances of basic standard of nutrition, health, and housing must be respected at all levels. When the state refuses or is marginalized, we said that basic requirements are impossible to fulfill. Violence and instability are the result. Public order collapses. Private system of violence and violence becomes decentralized, economic, and widespread. It's not only democracy that is threatened, but the very basis of social cohesion. And democracy system alone will not lead to emancipation. Political rights must be coupled with economic rights to overcome the system to row. And allowing democracy tends to become meaningless if it doesn't also have the economic freedoms. While we certainly have the right to vote, and freedom of expression becomes dysfunctional. People do not have personal freedoms that make it possible when they're poor, homeless, don't have health care, and living in tent cities. We have to recognize that democracy becomes meaningless rather than being dazzled and romanticizing those political individual freedoms. What's going on doesn't disqualify freedoms rights, but extend them to make the promise of democracy seem workable. And all current and future aid packages will be done on calculated strategic interest to ensure long-term U.S. interests are preserved. Dixon in 2011, the imperial reach represents a real threat. The popular opposition moves explaining about the meaning of Western powers taking an active role, but internationally legitimate knowledge production funding that fuel makes invisible the neoliberal agenda in an effort to maintain geopolitical relations to power. Western governments and observers to find their restraint on their own terms, maintaining a monopoly of expertise. The assistance for democratic transition is more of the same that has been offered for the last 2 decades. Prepackaged trickle-down prescription of private sector growth. This indeed seems like an opportune time of shock for implementation of neoliberal reforms. These dangerous signal a need for collective effort to ward off or resist the imperial reach of popular democracy, and this ensures collective suicide and sacrificial genocide of the periphery. Sanchez in free sacrificial genocide arise from totalitarian illusion that is believed that there are no alternatives to present-day difficulties and frontier rise from failing to take logical development and ultimate consequences. There's unemployment is not the result of market failures, instead it's the outcome of market laws not having been fully applied to logic. It's also conservative aims to infinitely reproduce the status quo inherent. It's the end of history. The West has experienced 3 law versions of this logic and seen 3 versions of the end of history. Stalinism with its logic of insuperable efficiency of the plan, Nazism with its logical racial superiority, and neoliberalism with its logic of insuperable efficiency of the market. The death trap predominates the idea of limiting collective suicide, only preventable by the massive destruction of the other, broader definition of the other. The more like the collective suicide, neoliberalism, death trap takes the many forms from the idea of discardable population to the concept of collateral damage, and the crackdowns in Bahrain prove that neoliberalism is the root cause of racial oppression and supremacy through corporate influences. In 2011, people of several nations in North Africa and the Arabian Peninsula have taken the streets and populist demands for rights and Native Americans have found a way to congratulate the U.S. for catalyst wage. These moves narcissism displayed in the U.S. is comical. It's completely unlikely that the U.S. had anything to do with the uprising nations such as Tunisia, Egypt, Yemen, and Libya. Not only has the U.S. not fostered these movements, but it had a great deal to do with propping up those governments that are now being swept aside by the people of the U.S. as coddled dictatorial rules, corrupt and despotic leaders help the U.S. maintain its political and economic hegemony over the region. In return, they were protected and supported. Years prior to what the U.S. and Libya engaged in numerous hostile exchanges, some were diplomatic while others were involved in violence. In December of 1985, Libyans were planned for a terrorist attack in the air road that the 5 Americans and Americans and Libyans exchanged gunfire, resulting in the sinking of 4 Libyan boats. The neoliberalism assumes a level playing field and a fair game for everyone, but the fair game has never existed because Western history has seldom exceeded the notion of equality among all. It is here that the concept of racism comes into play as a reciprocal phenomenon. To Western neoliberalism, racism is often equated with prejudice, but racism is the combination of prejudice with power. When an individual uses a position of power to deny someone of that racial right, the group, a job, or education, or a place to live, then they are engaging in racism. This power is necessary for racism to exist within a socio-economic context at the institutional and structural levels. Anyone can be a bigot. Understanding racism, to be a racist, you have to possess 2 things. 1, the socio-economic power to force others to do what you desire, even if they don't want to. And 2, the justification of this power abused by an ideology of biological supremacy with the rise of the acceptance that these are racist social concept, not scientifically provable distinction and heritability. Racism has had to find a safer footing than old notions. Racism based upon culture is now seen by racists as more defensible. Another way of putting this is that cultural racism substitutes the cultural category European for the racial category white. The theories are that non-Europeans are not racially but rather culturally backward. It is for this reason that they are porcelain must fall under European guidance and tutelage. The path that already tried by Europeans is the only means of overcoming backwardness. Non-Europeans were there by defining inferior to attain level of achievement, not potential for achievement. This was the realization of cultural racism. Therefore, we have the following advocacy statement: the top of the country should provide democracy assistance to the youth movement in the United States. Contention 2 is our affirmative solves that the world is a classroom. The affirmative reorients the power relation within it. We should be the students, not the professors. Regarding the revolution, we must join the revolution. You abandon colonial management and lead to societal transformation in the U.S. has been due. In 2001, when the away syllable is to be the rules of the world, continue to give a lesson in good management, good behavior to the rest of the world. It's laughable to see well-paid and well-fed intellectuals serve as a moth in paradise, offering services to the offspring creation of the Egyptian people in order to teach these savages the ABC of democracy, pathetic, persistent, colonial arrogance as us who have everything to learn from the popular uprising of the movement. We should be the students of these movements and not the professors for naked political principles that the dominant parts try to convince us of their obsoleteness when it is a matter of liberty, equality, emancipation. We all have to join the popular peoples, and our political vision is without party or leader, is a communism movement and identities outside the state sustained by people. This is Badu. In 2011, the popular uprising we students was obvious without a party, without a hegemonic organization, without a recognized leader. This is what makes it a communism movement. Communism here means a common creation of collective destiny, and it's generic, representing humanity as a whole. And we find all sorts of people, every word is heard, every suggestion is given, any difficulty is treated for what it is, overcomes all substantial contradictions that these states claim to be exclusive provinces, alone able to manage without ever surpassing between intellectuals and manual workers, between men and women, between poor and rich, between Muslims and Copts, between peasants and colored residents. Thousands of new possibilities arise at any given moment, to which the state remains completely blind. All these situations and mentions constitute the communism movement, lords of the Tunisian and Egyptian people, because they conjure the true and only political duty, the organized faithfulness to the communism movement takes on the state. And this leads upward and causes collective action that defeats paralyzing forces. Rome 2011. There are students in the U.S. involved in protesting for injustice they see around them, but they are indeed a minority in the struggle for educational reforms in the Middle East is a larger struggle for the economic, political, and social conditions that give meaning to substance and what it means to make democracy possible. Youth movements tell us that social provision and building casino capitalism and deeply authoritarian regimes have lost their utopian thrust and their ability to persuade and intimidate through the threats, coercion, and state violence. Young people become harbingers of democracy fashion through the desires, dreams, and hopes of a world based on the principles of equality, justice, freedom. It's only a matter of time before American youth recognize that market-driven society is not synonymous with democracy. Private rights are not more important than the social good. The society's view of those pathological and disposable demand cause for a mass presence in the streets, schools, and every other public space in which justice and democracy matter. Young people in the U.S. must join their counterparts across the globe and struggling to continue to build formative cultures, critical public spheres, social movements, and democratic institutions necessary to make that recognition and struggle possible. Only then can they be successful furthering the hard and crucial task of struggling collectively to make the future based on the promise of democratic freedom happen. Taking a cue from the youth movement that helped to topple Mubarak, American youth must understand their rights and know how to demand them and realize their own power just like their counterparts in Egypt, Tunisia, and Libya. And the time to act is now. Collective action is key to defeat authoritarianism and reaching democracy. This is Giroux in 11. What is new in the youth revolts that are rewriting the politics of the Middle East is a refusal on the part of young people to be written out of the future. There has been a concerted effort on the part of authoritarian and corporate states to destroy democratic public spheres and enable new models of association. If young people are granted the time, resources, and support to reclaim a future that does not imitate the present, these models will have a better chance of creating conditions for a future that makes good on the ideals and promises of democratization. Embracing a vision of democracy committed to economic and political equality is able not only to think in terms that relate isolated problems to larger public considerations, but also recognize the importance of a civic society that provides a formative culture necessary for self-governing democratic societies. Emphasis on new media is about creating new democratic public spheres where the values, ideas, dialogue, knowledge, and social relations necessary for democracy can take fruit. It is about creating counter public spheres that assert the public character of spaces, relations, and institutions regarded as private or currently limited to members of the ruling class and authoritarian elites.
Oh, you stopped.
I know. I'm still going.
I'll jump this to you. Read this.
Okay. The ideal. Do you want to plug this? Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to read it. Come on, we're running out of time. The ideology of the marketplace maps and perpetuates racism in America, eliminates the social space, and needs to challenge racist practices by privatizing discourse about racial relations, growing for representation, embrace our everyone in American society, and embracing the either ignore or relegate to utterly privatized discourse. We have embraced for me, although there engage lots of discourse and sides or differences are produced with the intuition of relation to power, either unobjectable or cultural signifiers of desirable commodities. The whole morality of the marketplace versus magic and widening the gap between political control and economic power will simultaneously reduce political agency. The act of consumer result is growing cynicism and powerless among the general population. Political impotence of public institutions reinforce the disparaging law of any representative ethics and equity, justice, or normative principles that prioritize democratic values and market considerations for power, undermines all notions of public good and increasingly prioritizes public space and obliterates the public sphere, in which the right and creates an indifference and a system of brief contempt and resentment racial hierarchies now class of power based on strategies such as blame minorities of class of power, or not working hard enough for choosing to exercise an individual initiative or practicing reverse racism.